So let's quickly draw this beam and a column. So first we'll make a column here. So first for column, in columns, so we have this columns list, and we'll just iterate through it, and we'll say just now draw. That is, firstly what you're gonna do is we'll just call this through this column, and we have draw poly. So let me give you what is here going on. So first we'll just pass here a columns, and just EMS, it should be COLU EMNS, these columns, and just pass here screen. So what is going on here is basically it is just calling us a draw poly. So if you go in this polygon and just see here, it is a draw poly. This function has been curled, and we have passed here as a element is a column. So it will check if the element is beam or column, and it has found this it is column, so it will just draw us a column. So that means we'll just pass a column and a screen. So after that, what you're gonna do is we'll just pass again for, so it should be here, and for beam in beams, and we'll just now pass beam here as in draw poly. That is same function but with a different element, that is draw poly, and instead of column we'll pass the beams here and screen. So make sure this column and beams should be exactly the same name as here you have checked, that is element equal to beam and element equal to column here. So make sure you have a same name there. And after that, what we're gonna do next is then we have to basically done with this column and beam. Now I'll just update the physics quickly. So that should be dt. So this is basically a range. So let me say 1.0 divide by slash 50.0 divide by let me say 2. So first divide by 2. So this is basically a range. After that, we're going to do just iterate now for x in range 2. So range 2. So what are you going to do here is space, that is the space for our bird or our physics, and just step here. So this is important function, and we'll just pass here as a dt, that is a change in a time basically. So what is this function really doing, or what this iteration is all about is basically it will make 2 update, that is it will make 2 update per frame. So what is the purpose of making a 2 update is for better stability. So it will just make 2 update per frame, and this is important, updating this physics. So physics means you can just check all the elements of a physics here, and we have used multiple elements here. We have gravity, and we have also some of the physics element, that is elasticity, friction. So all of these elements will be basically updated regularly on this every frame. You'll just update 2 physics elements. So after this update, what you're gonna have is, now we have left with this only drawing the second part of the sling. So let me say there should be rect and pygam, just creating this rectangle. So let me say O, comma 60, comma 200. So this is the position, 2 position, and this is the width, and this will be the height. So why this rectangle is needed? Because we need to blit now. So in order to blit, we had taking this rect as a reference, so we'll just blit here. So now what should be blit? So this should be sling image, that is if you check here, that should be sling image, and if you check here in images and go to the sling, this was our sling image. So this is sling, so it should be blit. So after this calling this sling image, what you're gonna have next is where this should be placed. Obviously 120, 420, this is the standard position. And after that, we'll just take a reference here as rect, and we're good to go on blitting that sling image to our screen. So let's now pygam dot call this flip method. So flip is similar to that of update, and we'll just clock dot tick and give this as a 50 frame per second, and just give a caption now. That would be display dot set caption. Just give our title. That would be Angry Bird. So let's run it now. So we have completed much of our tasks, but we have to complete now about some of the collisions and score. So it will be all covered in the coming lectures, but let's run it now and see if it really works or not. So you can run it by pressing this play button. So you can see our Flappy Bird is up and running. So this is our Flappy Bird game, and you can just pull it. So you can just pull the rope in any way, and you can just hit to that beam or to that structure. So let's see that. So I'm really bad at this. Okay, so you can see, and you can just play with this physics now. If you hit up, and it is really bouncing well, and you can see the effect, and you can see the change in this bird, basically the number of trial, and you can just hit it anytime you want. Let me just show you, and this is our Flappy Bird. So this white sticks was basically when you call. So let me close it and show you what was that really. So when we had this here, that was this circle when created in this bird path, we had this dirt, and similarly we have only one level, so it will not load any other level. So basically we have this number of trial is a number 4, that is we have a 4 number of bird. So we have created that when calling this, when you go in this level, so we have their load number equal to 0, but when you go in this level.py, you could see that now you have here the number of birds should be 4. And what you get here is go to main again, and just you can play around it. And let me show you something here that would be like, go to character, maybe in this character we can just change with this mass. So what if I change this mass to be 20? So you would see that bird won't even move. So let's play it again. So when you just hit this, so you can see the movement that the mass has been, so the weight, so because the mass has been really bigger, so that means the weight, the center of gravity, so movement will be dependent upon this weight. So you can see that the bird is not moving freely. So you can play around with these numbers. So let me just give it a 5. So basically these are the standard numbers. You can just play around with this radius and elasticity. This is basically for bounce and collision. So one thing you can observe here is we don't have a score basically, so we'll implement that. And second, when you just, let me just see here, when you just hit that, and when this wood just collide with this pig, or when this Angry Bird collide with this pig should be removed from this screen. So that is basically collision. So we should implement that collision in the upcoming lectures, and we'll also add the scores, and we'll just end this game. So see you in the next.